Dr. Sharon Sha. Hey, congratulations for your participation in Nat Geo's Limitless.
Thank you. It was super fun.
How terrific! Well, tell us this: how did your journey or path brought you on board onto this project?
Yeah, I mean, this is like an actual mystery to me and all my friends, but I'll tell you a little bit about my background and hopefully then that'll give us a little clue. I'm a trained behavioral neurologist, which means I see patients who have cognitive disorders like Alzheimer's disease and other types of dementia. Because I'm sort of an expert in memory, and in the time that I'm not seeing patients, I run clinical trials to find the sort of next cure for Alzheimer's disease. I did one documentary in the BBC using young blood to treat Alzheimer's disease in a clinical trial. And so maybe that was my pathway to get involved in this. But I'm definitely not a movie actor, actress by training, as you can tell. But I think my expertise in memory and keeping the brain healthy has allowed me to participate in this amazing work.
Well, then tell us what role did you play in this series? What was the specific subject that they approach you on?
Yeah, so my episode is on memory. And so, because of the expertise I have with memory function and how we can keep our brain healthy, was my role in saying to Chris, okay, I know you're already healthy, but how can we keep your brain healthy for the future and diminish your risk for developing things like Alzheimer's disease in the future? So, we talked about ways that he's already keeping his brain healthy, like exercise and diet. But we talked about other things that maybe he could work on, like sleep, and ways that he could really include in his daily routine that could be healthier for himself. And then I also gave him, I can't give it all away, but I gave him a challenge that is different than his normal routine to exercise his memory and challenge his brain.
Now, being an expert in Alzheimer's and dementia, what are the root causes for it, or do we really know what the root causes are for it?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we know that there are two proteins that build up in Alzheimer's disease, amyloid and tau. Whether they are byproducts or the buildup of them are byproducts of the brain trying to sequester to be healthier, or if they're the actual pathology that causes damage, we're unclear. And then what causes the amyloid and tau protein to build up in the first place? We don't know either. We wonder if there's some inflammatory process that sets off this cascade. But that's why all these clinical trials are really trying to target these proteins to say, hey, we're not sure why it happens, but if we get rid of it, does it help with the disease? Does it slow down the progression?
So, in your career, have we made progress? Finding getting closer to that cure, or is there's no cure for something like this?
There is no cure as of right now. And I don't want to take hope from people who are looking for that cure, that miracle drug. And that's why I spend the time that I do running clinical trials. But we have made a lot of progress. And this is really exciting. About a month ago, there was a press release for this drug lecanemab, which is a monoclonal antibody targeting amyloid. And it looked really exciting. It's a press release, so we don't know all of the data, just like you don't know all of this series. But we find that the drug reduces amyloid, and that's great. It reduces amyloid, but does that actually affect memory or independence? And it shows that against the placebo, it does look like it has less of a decline over time. But we don't know how the FDA will approve it or whether insurance will cover it. Last year, a similar drug, aducanumab, was also approved, and insurance carriers weren't really covering it. And there's some controversy about that. But because this is relatively new, and my suspicion is that there are going to be changes and approvals on the market, we're a lot closer. Is it going to be the only thing? No, for sure. My suspicion is that we're going to need to have multiple targets and multiple drugs, like a cocktail like we've seen in HIV, that might help keep the disease at bay and not necessarily a reversal of the disease process.
So we should be aware and not just basically roll the dice on all these things, because I know like a few years ago with documentaries and news, people were all on the idea of stem cell research was the key.
Yeah, I mean, I think stem cell has its place, I think it's stem cell because it's sort of these nascent cells that are undifferentiated. Maybe they can turn something that could heal. And that can be exciting for, say, traumatic brain injury or even strokes, where you have a static injury. But in degenerative diseases like Huntington's disease, Parkinson's disease, and even Alzheimer's disease, we have not yet seen success in stem cell therapy. And in fact, what we see in these degenerative diseases is that other healthy cells are getting recruited to die. So unfortunately, my suspicion is that with other stem cell therapy, we're going to see those stem cells get recruited to get damaged also. But we are in a different stage that I'm excited for.
Oh, really?
Well, just in with the lecanemab data and other monoclonal antibodies on the horizon and other targets on the horizon. Yes, I'm excited.
Most excellent. Now let's discuss about the preventive measures against dementia and Alzheimer's. You kind of mentioned it before. It sounds too simple just to say sleep and exercise.
Yeah, I think everybody wants that sort of holy grail, special magic sauce. And give me that. I'll just take that, But we also think it's common sense, right? That exercise, we know it's good for us. Why should that be good for our brain? But we know it works. Research study after research study demonstrates it helps prevent and also helps delay decline. But also the fuel for our body, what we eat, it makes sense also. It's a fuel for our brain. So we need to make that the healthy choices. Similarly, keeping our brain stimulated. Those neuronal connections need activity. They need stimulation. Similarly, social activity. In the pandemic, we were so isolated. We felt terrible. We were in this brain fog. The socializing has been really beneficial to keeping our brain healthy. So it seems simple. And it seems like that prescription is super simple. But to try to get all of those layers in is hard during the day. We're on the computer right now. We should be out exercising, right? Our body should be moving. So it is simple, but it's hard to implement. So what I would really encourage is a routine so that we can make those simple choices happen on a daily basis.
And what one of the things that you brought up is brain exercise. This is something that a lot of people don't know what it is or how to do it. Can you quickly give us something that maybe we could immediately do instantaneously every day?
I know we want that quick fix again, right? So for example, people say, should I do Sudoku or should I do crossword puzzles? And I say, only if you like it. I am terrible at crossword puzzles. That's probably why I'm not a writer. I can't think of a great vocabulary. I think that what we have to do is what we enjoy. So that is sort of a quick fix. So if you really enjoy a certain type of activity like crossword puzzles, then keep it up. It is making you think. It is interactive. But if you enjoy something else, or art is your favorite thing to do, or if you like dancing or learning new dances, that's stimulating. So just find your joy and do that.
So essentially your advice is just go out and do something.
Yeah, just do it, right? I'm not Nike, but I'm like, just get outside, do something that you find enjoyable and make it a habit every day. Your brain doesn't take days off, and neither should your body, your sleep, your diet, all of that should be there on a daily basis.
Well, all of this is very useful. Hopefully we could prevent and stop this dementia and Alzheimer's for everyone. So can't wait to check out your episode on National Geographic's Limitless and find out what you do with Chris Hemsworth there.
Thank you so much. Great to meet you, Gig.
Hey, thank you. Hopefully we get to do this again. Thank you.